Hi everybody, this is Mike. I'm in the process here of putting together a barn door for my basement. It's a single solid door. I bought it from Lowe's. It's a Vevor brand, model 42HM. There's a serial number right there too. I have one already built. This is my second one. This is what it's supposed to look like right there on the left. And that's what it looks like. And it's a good product. It's good enough that I bought two of them. And here it is unboxed. I have it here, it's all unboxed. Just came in today, and I'm in the process of assembling it. There's nothing wrong with the door except it has one major flaw. And the first one had that too, and I want to make this video so people can see what the flaw is, and hopefully the people who design these things and engineer them can make a change to this, because it's a pretty major flaw. What I have here is three of the boards already, and these are the main structure of the frame, three of the short parts, and on the end of each one of those you'll see there's a insert right here, and each one of them has that on each end, so there's a total of 6 inserts. So I'm gonna set this video up here. There we go. Your camera up. And so here's the insert, and like I said, there's one on each end of these, and the problem is these inserts are not secure, not secure at all. It happened on the first one. I put it all together, and I had it together for a day, and then I started noticing gaps between the board that fits against this one and screws in with this screw and holds it all together. And I noticed a gap, and it got worse, and so I ended up taking it apart. Well, it turned out that these inserts there's nothing wrong with the insert. It's how the hole's designed. So literally, if you try to draw this together, and I have this bolt and I've drawn this together, I can pull that out by hand. That's how easy that came out. Now there's nothing wrong with the insert. You can see it has perfect threads. The problem is they've made this hole right here. They made that hole too big, and you can see there's no threads in there. And so what happens is you just don't have, the door has no way for it to be held together. And that's completely not an acceptable situation. And it's the same way on the other end. Like I said, there's 3 of these boards, and this one here is the worst one, and so I'm not even going to show the others. They're actually almost good enough because they do have a little bit of grip. I couldn't just yank them out, but these two, because I checked it before I put it together, as opposed to the last one, I didn't check them. I just screwed it together. This one I checked before, and sure enough, I can just pull that out that easily, and that's really unacceptable. So there's probably, there's more than one way to fix it. First off, from when it's built brand new, this hole should have been a little bit smaller, and then they should have run a tap or something. I know these are self-tapping. The problem what you run into is it's so thin between here and here. That's probably what it was, is they started cracking this. And so instead of doing that, they didn't put pressure on it. So they just barely made them almost small enough to hold, but not. And so they need to fix this. And one way to fix this would be to take a dowel pin, a wooden dowel, and then glue it in there, and then re-drill it and make it so that this insert would work. And that's probably, if you argued with a woodworker, that's probably the correct way. I'm more of a metal worker, machinist, and I don't have a wood dowel, I don't have wood glue, and I'd have to go to town. And so instead of that, I had some brass, and so I just made my own brass insert. You can see it's quite a bit bigger than the one that came out, because the hole is so big. So I just went with whatever size worked, and this ends up being 9/16 by 12 thread, and that works out good. And I've got a metal tap, and I'll just tap this, which I did on the last one. I'm gonna do it on this one again, and then of course I drilled it in the center. I drilled it clear through with a 6x1 thread, so I can screw my screw in here like that, and then I'll be able to tighten it down. And then I cut a slot in it too, so I can drive it in with a screwdriver. So you can see that I'll have to drill this out just to the next size bigger, and it will be pretty close to the edge. But if you're gentle and you hit it, which is already centered, if you hit it right and you cut threads, it won't split the wood. And that's probably why they were concerned. It probably had happened in the past. But anyway, to the people who are manufacturing this needs to be changed, because that's 2 in a row. And so I want to make this video so people see that if their door's coming apart, it's not because they did anything wrong. It's because it was designed a little bit wrong. This needs to be fixed. Otherwise, I'm very pleased with the door. If I wasn't, I wouldn't have bought another one. So I made enough of these little inserts. I put 3 or 6 in the last one, and I've got 6 in this one. I made 6 more. I made 12 total because I knew I was going to buy another door. And I'll drill this out, thread this in, and when I put this thing in, it'll hold forever. And it probably would hold fine if you just put a new piece of wood dowel in here. But from a standard do-it-yourself guy that's trying to make one of these, that would not be, that's not acceptable. This should be fixed from the factory. It should not be this way. So I'm making this video to give guidance to you guys out there designing it. So anyway, all the best to you. Many happy constructions, and I will let you go. Hi again, everybody. It's Mike. I'm just thought I'd do a follow-up. I had talked about these inserts that are bad on this door, and you can see I can literally just take this old one and I can push it in and out. So it's not, that obviously doesn't hold. So what I did was, and I said it earlier in my previous one, I made my own inserts out of some brass I had. It's 9/16 by 12 threads, and whatever length, about 3/4 of an inch, a little longer. And then 6 by 1 metric thread on the inside, and then a slot on the end for running with a screwdriver. And so I was just going to show how I did it. So what I did was, I obviously pulled the old insert out, and then I have a 31/64 drill bit, and that's what size of drill bit you need for 9/16. And I just chose 9/16 because 1/2 inch wasn't going to cut it. I needed to go to the next size bigger, and the next size bigger I had was 9/16. So what you basically want to do is we're going to just drill that hole out. Like that. There's probably some woodworkers out there wondering what the heck is this guy doing. But and then I've got a tap here on a T-handle. It's a 9/16 by 12 threaded tap, and I will just tap that wood. You just push her in plenty deep and keep it straight as you can and cut threads. There we go. It's taken. And then with cutting threads, you don't put pressure on the side of this when you screw that insert in there, because it'll have threads for it. And you can tell it's going in really nice. And I just go until it bottoms. You can tell I'm not pushing. That's probably good enough. All right, and you just screw it back out. A little squeaky. All right. And then you can see there's some threads in there now. And so then I'll take my insert, here's my insert, and I'll just screw that in there. There you go. There we go. Until she bottoms. There he goes. All right, and then we take our bolt that I could pull out super easy on the previous one. Look at that. Now that will hold. So if they would have just done that with these earlier inserts, this one here, if they would have, and I don't know what that thread is. That's some, some woodworker thread. I don't have, obviously. But if they had a tap or something that would cut threads like that into here, it'd been perfect. It'd been perfect. So anyway, that's how I fixed it. And I'm going to do it on all of these. I've already done it on my previous door. I'm doing it on this new door. It'll be a lot better because I won't have it put all together and take it all back apart again and redo it. Or I figure out first what's going on and then have to redo it. So I've got this ahead of time. So once again, if I needed a barn door that was in this configuration, I'd buy it. Good product. But this, boy, I can't believe that I'm the first one to complain. But if I am, there'll be more to follow because this has to be corrected. So anyway, many happy constructions to all of you guys and building stuff and fixing things that need to be fixed. Take care.